Well, hello there. I go by Hooligan, and welcome to the 5,000 day world tour of our hardcore season 2 world. Now, this right here, this is what the world looked like when we entered it, untouched, unscathed. And right here is the start of all our transformations. We have done so many things that we are very proud of. From building a beautiful villa town. This was right here was our starter area. We'll get to that in just a minute. We built a shogun castle and a Japanese city to go along with it, as well as an air temple right up there. We built a Nordic city with another castle to go with it. By the time I'm done with this series, there's probably going to be a lot of castles. I like building different styles. We built and captured a ton of mobs for a zoo, as well as all the hostile mobs from a prison that you'll see in just a little bit. And some projects that just took so much time. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. So, you want to come check out this journey with me? Well, hello there, my dudes. How is everybody doing? I truly hope your day is going beautiful. Anyways, we are here to explore our world at 5,000 days. Actually, as you can see in our day counter and our coordinates up there, 5,038 days. And we have big plans for the next 5,000 days. But today, we are here to showcase what we have done so far. Now, even though our world technically started a couple hundred blocks that way, this right here was the true beginning to our journey. By the end of the first episode, I had built me my starter villa. And, well, it was kind of a big thing for me because I generally don't build starter houses. And going forth, if I ever have to start a new world, I will definitely do it again. It definitely made the world feel more alive to me. And our starter villa right here was built with everything we collected in our first 100 days. So resources were limited. And right here, we just got a little porch that for some reason I still have torches on and no decorations. I should probably fix that. Yeah, on to stuff that is decorated. Right over here is our first permanent residence to sleep and our first kitty cat. At least I believe this was our first guy. I should bring you somewhere where I visit more often, huh, buddy? Anyways, right in here, we decorated up a cozy little just living area. And I just love the way it came out. The copper blocks, the new copper blocks, which they're not really that new anymore, really make this whole building pop. This was our first storage area that, for whatever reason, I never finished cleaning out. Maybe I'll clean it out and make this like a little doggy pen. And across from our starter bedroom is our little kitchen area with a staircase going up to some more stuff. And this little kitchen came out so cute. And this area, I actually do frequent quite often. One, it holds our golden carrots, and that's my main food source. Two, we utilized it at the beginning of the game, towards the middle of the game, to brew potions. And, well, every once in a while, I need some stuff from in here anyways. For instance, like eggs when I need to get wither roses. On the other side of this area is just another little cozy kitchen with some item frames that I cannot for the life of me remember why I put them there. But up the stairs is this little area we decorated for the idea that any visitors would come and stay here, as well as an additional bed if for some reason I'm trapped up here and need to sleep. And through here, we did not decorate this corridor. I don't remember why. Probably should put like a couch or a table or something here. I'll do that later. Is our enchanting room. Now, admittedly, I kind of want to build a dedicated enchanting building. However, I am so stupidly maxed in gear and multiple pieces of gear, I don't know why I would. Just to flex, I guess. Now, we love our storage house, but we do not spend that much time here. Because we ended up building a storage house over there that we'll see in a minute. However, this was the beginning of everything, and we started sprawling out from there, erecting an entire hamlet-style village. Now, while a lot of these buildings are just decorative, some of them contain villager trading halls or farms, like this one right here next to a big wheat field, is our villager breeder. And also, it's a windmill. Yeah, see? Windmill. And it's just a very basic version of a villager breeder for all our villager needs. Across from it is significantly more important. This is our first library. And inside the library, we have a parrot named Cookies, named by a viewer and subscriber named Diggletti. And down here is our 9 librarians. Now, you might think, well, that's not that many librarians. but they were carefully selected for their trades and give us absolutely everything we need. They're actually a big source of our emeralds as well, because half these guys will buy ink. We'll get to that in a minute, though. As far as their books, all the good books. Efficiency, mending, unbreaking, all the good stuff. And I did not bother curing any of those guys, because you'll see in a little bit, we have infinite emeralds forever from like 14 different sources. Across from our first library, we have just a little barn with some cows, wherever they are. Ah, there they are. And then right here, we have a stable for all our equine friends. Our absolutely amazing, fast, jumpy horse with all the hearts. Our donkey and our mule. Or donkey? Mule? I think that's the mule. Yeah, that's the mule. And our camel friend. We got more camel friends over at the zoo. Across from our stables is just a cute little pond with a bridge going over towards our starter house. And I really dug this early game. Like, I vibed with it hard. I don't remember if I had the drip leaves and stuff when I built it or I added those in later, but I love it. And then next to the pond is just some villagers we have stashed. Now, eventually, when I finally get around to it, this is going to be a little work area for, I believe, that guy to service the animals. Horseshoes, all that, saddle repairs. Now, these two guys are actually supposed to go in this building. I just haven't gotten around to the interior yet. We got an armorer and a weaponsmith. Across from our armor and our weaponsmith is probably one of the most important early game buildings we ever made in this season. It houses 2 farms and 2 villagers of very big importance. This one right here, behind that wall, is a melon farm with an autocrafter to turn it into melons. This right here, behind there, is a pumpkin farm. And these guys right here, yep, they are our ATMs. Both of them having pumpkin and melon trades, as well as, well, they always have golden carrots, and that is absolutely amazing. Also, if you're on Bedrock, I don't think they always do have golden carrots. That's kind of sad. Yeah, that's sad. Coming out of our little farmer's market here, we have 3 choices. We could go that way, towards the storage house. We'll do that in just a little bit. We don't have to do that right now. Down there goes to our docks, also in a little bit. But right up here is another very, very important early game farm. And this is our very small sugarcane farm. And, well, if anybody out there thinks they have to build a huge sugarcane farm in a single-player world, you don't. I have never, ever run out of sugarcane. Just build it close to where you always are. Now, taking the lower path out of the farmer's market, we enter a little dock area. Now, this all used to be forest and very weirdly shaped land. Well, we turned it into a lake. Yeah, and this right here just kind of feels like a dockmaster's house to me. I don't know why. I vibe with it, though. And this is a little work area. And you can see across the lake is just 2 cute little fishing houses. I don't know. There's nothing in them, but they look pretty cool. Right here above the dock, we have our honeycomb farm. And it works really good. It doesn't look like it right here, but if you come out here, I'm never, ever going to need any more honeycomb. Honestly, I could just turn this thing off, but I'm not going to. And now the center path, which leads through all our residential area of the city. We wanted bright poppy colors, and I think it came out absolutely beautiful. I mean, in my opinion, it did. And down here, this all right here used to be a big hole. Now, at the time, we just knew we wanted to put a quarry here. However, during a little bit of experimentation before we built the quarry, we found something out. As we were working on our worlds in this big hole that was here, we didn't dig into this out. No, this was here. We covered it up. We noticed an occasional squid spawning in a very, very, very small area of water. And right under here, underneath our crane and our rail system, we have this entrance, which leads down to a super, super tiny ink farm. And it's a really, really good ink farm. Oh, it's so small and always active, because there's no other rivers around here, at least none that were naturally generated. It's actually working too good. It can't keep up. I'll deal with that later. Now, this bridge going across the quarry leads to a couple little houses we have designated to be sleeping quarters for the mine workers. And a zombie stole my door. Hold on. Stupid zombie? There wasn't anything in there. Anyways, and another little building, I feel like this right here would be like the quarry master's house. It's a little more fancier than this one. And right up here is what I envision as an ambassador's house from a kingdom that you'll be seeing here in a little bit. A nature empire that's a little bit over that way. Now, this path here leads to our hostile mob prison. We'll be getting there in just a second. This one right here leads to probably the most important area in my entire world. And this is our storage house with Snowflake, our guard kitty, and the most important mob in the entire game. This is Dave. Dave's our best friend. Yeah, he just showed up one day in our attic in our storage room, and he's been our best friend for a while. Yeah, he actually at one point went missing, and I found him in a ravine. It was sad, awesome, and it all at once. Before we look at the storage room, though, I want to show you the surroundings of it. It'll make sense why in just a second. This little connecting building here is our honey farm, which has stopped working because I haven't been stocking it with bottles, because I already have way more than I need. But if I ever need a bunch, I could fire it back up again. And on the other side of our honey farm, we have our brew house, yet another very important area in my world. We have all the supplies in our very stocked pantry. Also, this is our brewing bee. Yeah, he just hangs out in here. I think we have some slime friends here too. Wait, are you guys here? Well, we had 2 little slimes in here. I don't know where they went. They were name tagged. They shouldn't have despawned. I'm thinking maybe they got in there and drowned somehow. Because I did have this down for whatever reason. But anyways, this is where I brew up all the lovely potions that we use quite often, and some we don't ever use. I really want to know where my slimes went. Huh. And behind our brewhouse is a little greenhouse with a bunch of areas like they're collecting reagents to make all the potions. Some of them are actual reagents that you can make potions from, and other ones in like a D&D or whatever fantasy world, you'd think they would. Like, I would think that would make some type of potion. And while mainly decorative, it does house all of our plants, our leaves, our greenery, our flowers, our seeds. And the whole area is surrounded by fields. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of fields. Now, behind our storage house is another custom pond with a custom tree and a custom dock. I don't know what this tree's supposed to represent, like what kind of tree, but I vibe with it. Yeah, I dig it. And the final build in our storage house area is this right here. Now, this tropical looking building is our sugarcane farm. However, the reason we didn't start with the storage room to begin with is because of this. There is no actual collection in this building, like at all. And also, it is very much overflowing. And that is because all the collection actually runs into our storage house. We'll get up here in a minute. Let me show you where that actually goes. It goes right here. Yeah, I should probably collect that up. That's a waste. Your dude is very well set up to build some stuff. Let me show you this amazing organization. All the woods plus everything you can make from the woods. Random box for sticks because I use a lot of sticks. Oceany stuff, rail stuff, froglight stuff. Adventure-y and miscellaneous stuffs. Stone and dirt stuffs. Ores and whatnot. I don't know what that wall is supposed to be. It's just stuffs. Nether end and deep dark thingies. Concretes and concrete powders, which, well, the ones we use. We don't use that much. But terracotta, we do. Lots and lots of terracotta. Plus a bunch of blank terracotta, so I can make more terracotta. Now, we get into some pretty big builds, so that amount of storage is not nearly enough. Down here, this is all our overflow. All our important woods, our important stones, our massively used stones. Oh, by the way, these are almost all full of stone. Cobblestone, dirts, grasses, sand, gravel, all very, very important for long-term building. And the last room in our storage house is probably the most important. This is just an unloader where I sort all my boxes after a build. These two are here because I'm setting up rail boxes and additional overflow for future projects. Tough and copper, two big ones, as well as deep slate. Really, pillagers? You're blocking our next destination. That's just rude. Anyways, this path over here leads to one of our recent completed projects, and it was a big, big project. It's a pretty long road. I'll get back to you when I'm there. Well, we're finally there. I never realized how long that road was, honestly, because I'm always flying. This is our prison, with all the hostile mobs we want. Let's count them off. We got slimes, we got magma cubes, we got guardians, we have a Johnny Vindicator, we have Piglin Gin Pop. We have a charged creeper, Evoker, Ravager, Hoglins, oh wait, nope, Zoglin, and a baby Zoglin. Where's the baby? There he is. Enderman, Witch, Wither Skeleton, and some disarmed, pillagers. Yeah, they can't do anything. Zombie Gen Pop. And through this door right here is our favorite area of the prison. It's just your normal cells. And we got some pretty cool stuff in here. We got a chicken jockey. This guy was a chicken jockey, and we forgot the name tag the chicken, so now he's just a baby zombie. Husk, a regular creeper, and a bunch of other just normal mobs. Stray, Breeze, Blaze, and a bunch of pumpkin-headed mobs we got on Halloween. Yeah, the only thing we don't have in here is a spider jockey. But I don't really care that much. Favorite mob in the entire prison? Zombie cartographer holding a sapling. And from our starter area, we started expanding in every direction. We'll kick this off by going north. So from our north town entrance right there, we have another long road. Everything in my world has to be connected through a road or nether hub or something like that. It's just a rule I have no matter how far away it is. And as we head to the north, our road splits. One way goes to the Air Temple, with a pretty grand staircase going all the way to the top. Now, fair warning, it's probably going to be loud in here. Because not only is it a temple of knowledge, it's also our happy gas sanctuary. Don't ask me why they're changing colors and shades. I have not figured out why. And this is one of two temples we have built so far. This is the Air Temple. We have also built a Water Temple. We'll get to that in just a little bit because it's a distance away. And, well, we're going to build two more at some point because we want a Fire and an Earth Temple as well. And this is our Temple Chicken. Still haven't named him, but he just lives in the temple. Now, if we go the other way on the road, we have two choices. We can continue going north or we can go west. And, well, this right here is our Japanese-inspired city with a castle and what I envision as some rice paddy fields. We'll get to that city in just a second. I want to go west first because it kind of dead ends. So through this long tunnel that runs through the mountain, what do we have? We have a secluded mountainous retreat with a factory, a little house that admittedly is just empty, and a wonderful, wonderful museum. Let me show you this museum. We almost have every collectible in the game, minus a couple music discs and two mob heads. We have, of course, the Dragon Egg, Wither Skeleton Skull. Every collectible from a Cold Ocean Ruin. Every single collectible from a Trial Chamber. All the collectibles from a Warm Ocean Ruin. Everything from the desert. And everything from Trial Ruins. This one took forever. And every armor trim in the game, with the prize piece being the silence trim. Oh, that looks pretty awesome. And the whole idea of this area is that a collector lives there. Now, that's the lore, and he is very, very wealthy from his museum and his factory. Speaking of the factory, this was one of our favorite builds, but it's also very, very functional. It's also very, very not done. No, we still got a lot of stuff to put in here. But what we have so far is we have two floor shifters. One set up for Warped, one set up for Crimson. So we can get all these plant goodies on either one. Just do a little. And goodies. It also houses a 2-level cactus farm that that I don't need this much of. But if I ever need, 30,000 cactus, I'll be good to go. And then we have two OG farms, Basalt Generator and Stone and Cobble Generator. I don't really use these very often. If anything, I'll use that one because I always have too much stone. Now, going up to the upper level is one of my favorite farms. This is our moss farm, and it works awesome. Now, we really love this farm. It's also self-sustaining because it actually produces more bone meal than it uses. And man, does it make moss quick. And the rest of the top floor is still just empty. Yeah, we need to put some more farms and whatnot in here. And this right here, don't pay attention to this. This was my attempt to make a concrete generator. I'm going to redesign it. The further we get away from our starter area, the crazier the builds get. That's just kind of the way it worked out. But right here, the entrance to our Shogun City, we just have a couple little farmhouses. I like that little one right there. These two here are pretty much identical and pretty basic, but these are supposed to be peasant houses that are just working the farmland. And as we enter the city, it feels phenomenal. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think I'm the best builder ever, but I think I did all right here. Now, as far as what we have a samurai compound here with 0 interior. The main castle keep right here with an interior. We'll get to that in just a second. A lovely little temple surrounded by a bunch of flower fields. An aqueduct system running through the entire city. And right here is just a cozy little market area. Like, I envision this as a weaponsmith dealer. I kind of think of this as a restaurant, maybe like a noodle and rice vendor. This building right here, I kind of think of it as like a tea shop. I don't know why. Just kind of seems like a tea shop. This little building in the market, I feel like it is for, curing and processing meats. Like, he's a meat vendor. You get your noodles over there, you come over here, you get a couple slices of steak or chicken to throw into it. Did that make sense to anybody but me? But probably not. And the last little building in the market, I just kind of envision it as general goods. And then across from the market, we have another samurai compound. This one came out pretty cool. Once again, no interior, but I really love the colors on it. And these two little weird houses are just that. They're just weird houses. And then, of course, the centerpiece of the entire city, the castle. The outer courtyard here has an open gate entrance. Not too crazy on the details, but it came out okay. Then right in here, we have a couple stables where traveling diplomats would stable their horses so they can go out and meet with the emperor. That right there, it's empty. Yeah, I'll put some beds and stuff in here. It's just supposed to be like where servants or soldiers would be resting in between travels. And then when we get to the inner courtyard, which is much more secure than this outer courtyard, with a double gate right here. And the decorations, I feel like they came out pretty cool. As far as the courtyard itself, there's a bit of armor sitting out here for a quick gear up if the castle gets threatened. A little practice range, just to keep skills sharp. And these buildings actually have interiors. This one here is just a little dojo. Very simple, very minimalist, and I vibe with it. And this one here is a mess hall. Now, I tried to use beds to simulate the tables. I might change that, but for right now, it is what it is, and I wanted to try something new. It's not the worst thing ever, and not the greatest either, though. And the last little building in our inner courtyard is just a cute little cozy kitchen, and I vibe with this one pretty good, too. Yeah. And then we have the actual castle. On the first floor here, this is just a receiving area. It could be used for multiple purposes. All this furniture could be moved around in case they need to assemble a battalion for instructions or something like that. And on either side, there is a staircase going up. And what this is multifunctional modular rooms. Kind of designed it like this would be closed off. This could become a room for servants, visiting ambassadors, soldiers, equipment, supplies, and so on and so forth. Then heading up to the third floor, this is the actual throne room, which is a little seating area for anybody waiting for an audience with the emperor. Now, that being said, I said almost this exact speech whenever I did this episode like 6 episodes ago. But this is a world tour, and that's what this place is. So I'm saying it again. Now, somebody out there might say to themselves, dude, this place is so blank. Like, where's all the decorations and stuff? That's how it's supposed to be. You don't believe me? Go Google it. Yeah. Japanese castles, they were not cluttered with a bunch of crap. No. And then we have our North Gate, which essentially sections our starter area off from the rest of the world. Now, that doesn't mean that there's nothing else over to the north. It just means that whatever's over here that I'm about to show you, it's secluded and doesn't want to have very much to do with the rest of the world. So, right along this path, yeah, it's another very long path. We eventually arrive at the Druid Nation. Now, this area is all about nature. The entire thing. We got a big, giant custom tree that, looking back on it now, feels like it needs some adjustment. But we did it, and I think I'm going to leave it the way it is, because I like to show my mistakes. If it even was a mistake, I still kind of vibe with it. We got hobbit holes of many different designs. Like this one. Very cozy. And these two. Yep. This is probably my favorite area in the entire Druid Nation, by the way. Yet another. I really like the colors on this one. Another one with a super cute door entrance. And these two here, I see them as druidic houses. Same thing goes for these two. You can see it there. Let me see. There's actually a tree growing out of this one. And this hobbit house here works so well, being framed out by this pond. But you know what? We did just build hobbit houses and druid houses. We also built some elvish style houses. Now this one here is pretty basic, but when we get over here, nice little bridge and pond area, just kind of framed out by some fields and whatnot. We built 3 very grand elvish style houses. At least they feel elvish to me. This is the first one, and I just love all the greenery. Green is by far my favorite color, and I have to stop myself quite often for using too much of it. And this is the second of our elvish houses, with a nice little staircase just coming up to it. And the last one is right here. This is actually the first building we built in the area. We built this before we even had this whole plan. And I really like the little tiny courtyard right here. I think this would be a courtyard. Whatever it is. And the entire city is centered around this tree and big flower fields and stone worship centers all the way around it. And that's where our world ends to the north for now. But let me tell you, and believe me when I say we're not even close to done. Now, from our starter town right here, we still have the south and west. Well, I guess east too, but there's not too much over that way. There is something big over that way, but we'll get to that in a minute. We're going to start right here and go that way. Now, right across from our starter house on our giant wheat field, we have what we like to call the Sniffer Ranch. And admittedly, these fields right here, they were supposed to be temporary, but they're kind of just part of my world now, so they stay. Now, the outside of the Sniffer Ranch, at least on this side, is just a big sheep pasture, because this side of the ranch houses a very productive wolf farm. And yeah, it's ugly in here. It won't be forever. Eventually I'll do it. Probably. Maybe. This is our squad of attack doggies. Yeah, they're on R&R right now. They're just resting and relaxing, at the Sniffer Ranch, chilling out. They had some hard missions. They did good, though. You did good, buddy. We got ourselves a couple of stalled sniffers. We got ourselves some free roaming sniffers. And inside this building right here, we have the Sniffer Farm. And it does pretty well for us. We got about 4 times as much of this over at the greenhouse. We'll get to all that in a minute. Let's keep going this way. Next to the Sniffer Ranch, we have a custom river, a couple of bridges, another custom pond. If you haven't noticed yet, I like to use water to frame a lot of things out. Also, those pillagers are trying to cause problems again. You just stay there. Stay there in that empty cow pasture that I never put cows in. And then we have our grand cathedral and a little stable to stable your horse while you're in the cathedral. All right, make your bets. Is there an interior? Is there? The answer is yes. There is an interior on this one. And, well, the building's much bigger than the roof shows it to be, but I just had no use for that space up there. And then on either side of the cathedral, we have little confessional stalls with clerics. And I was pretty happy with the interior of this building. All the paintings fit the vibe, and all the decorations do, really. Yeah. And on the west side of the cathedral, we just have a little graveyard. Now, what these bigger ones are going to represent, as soon as I get around to doing it, is every time that I have used a totem to survive death. Now, so far, that's only been one time, and that's been to an Enderman. But, well, we got plenty of places to put other ones, because we're inevitably going to use more. And then next to the cathedral and the graveyard, we have 3 fancy houses, all with specific reasons for being there. And then a couple peasant houses. This one here is a vineyard. I came up with 3 designs for what I believe a vineyard would look like, or different variations. Maybe they're making wine, maybe they're making mead. I don't know, but I just kind of played with it, and I had fun. And the one that represents the vineyard was supposed to have more of a business type feel than a residence. And I think it does. Across from that, we have the cocoa bean farmer, with a bit more of a tropical vibe. And this is not just a decorative farm. This is something we use quite often to make terracotta. So it's a fully functional farm. Because as far as I know, I don't think there's any way to auto-farm cocoa beans. And the last little more detailed house here is a poultry farmer. And, we wanted all of the different variations of chickens in here. We kind of forgot to put the regular ones in here. And we only have one of that guy. Can we fix that? Hold on. 1 egg. Do you get a friend? No friend. Yeah, we'll breed you up some friends later. And then we have 4 rotating crop fields, 2 big wheat fields, and a carrot and potato field. And they would get switched around and harvested and worked by... And they get worked by the families living in these 2 houses right here. Now, I don't really consider these to be peasant houses. They are just more rustic. Now, our custom river comes from all this farmland right here over to the west gate. And this west gate represents the end of the association with all of that kingdom. Because we only have 3 things over here. And oh my, are they grand. Well, at least 2 of them are. First up being our zoo. Our zoo is one of our favorite places in our entire world, and we have all the passive mobs, excluding livestock. We didn't put any livestock in here. At one point, we might expand it and do a little petting zoo for that. I don't know. But we have all the birdies. We have llamas. We have camels. We actually have 2 camels in here. Where are they at? Oh, there they are. Look, they're snuggling. And all the animals in here, they get their own little habitat. Except for these guys, because I have no idea what a sniffer habitat would look like. So this is what they get. And this one here is the panda habitat. And fun fact, we bred these 2 dudes, and we got a brown panda on the first try. Yeah, it was awesome. Little ocelot habitat. Foxes. Skeleton horsies. Snow foxes. Oh wait, no, they're called Arctic foxes. Some grumpy goats, and froggies. I still need to get some variations of the froggies. We just have the 1 in there right now. Polar bears and happy ghast. Where's my other polar bear? Oh, he's in there. Mushrooms and striders. And I don't know why these guys do this. They have all that lava, but won't get off the magma blocks. Like, stop shivering. Get in the lava, dudes. Armadillos and allays. Where's my allays? Oh, there they are. A very derpy snow golem. And the turtles. I love turtles in Minecraft. And this is the Wild Pup Sanctuary. We still need to get, I think, 4 of these guys, though. And the centerpiece for our zoo is the aquarium. Oh, yeah, we got lots of fishies in here. I promise you there's fishies. Yeah, right there. And all over the place. And we got axolotls. For whatever reason, they will not get off that roof. I don't know why. Maybe they need an air block up there? I don't know. I could definitely use a few more buckets of fishies in here. And this right here is an under construction expansion wing for when Minecraft adds new mobs. I think they might be doing that soon. Maybe a zombie horse and whatever that weird thing you ride in the ocean. And that's it for our zoo. Or is it? Because this zoo has a hidden feature underneath, right through here. And what's down here, you might be wondering? We have ourselves a key farm. Yeah, we annihilated an entire trial chamber to build this key farm. Let's take a quick ride. So we can do this in ominous or non-ominous mode, and we just go around the farm. Everything gets auto-collected, they all activate, and we get all kinds of goodies. And when we reach the top, we let all the spawners do their thing, pop a bottle, and then go back down in ominous mode. I don't have one on me, or I'd do it, but you get the point. I need to make a rail system or a water elevator to get in and out of here quicker. This is kind of annoying. Okay, now that's all for the zoo, but we still have two things over here. One of them is my favorite city build that I've ever done in any of my worlds. And we're going to approach it by boat, because that's how it's meant to be done. And the reason we wanted to approach by boat is because this is our seafaring town, our Nordic kingdom. And it is so far probably our favorite city we have ever built. With a large, cluttered up wharf area, like supplies are constantly being delivered here. I like to think of this house as the shipwright's house. Actually, I'm thinking about putting a partially completed shipwright here, and like a little crane coming off of here, holding it out of the water. And all the corridors through our city are really cramped and cozy, and that's the way I wanted them. And another door is missing. Anyways, towards the back of the city, we have a big fortified gate, and that just leads to some farmland. This is kind of like the little farming area in the back. We got a couple of the little upright horn cows. I like these guys. I think they're my favorite of the new variants. Little pig pen that probably needs a little bit more decoration. More cramped corridors and cute little cozy houses. I like this one right here. It came out pretty good. But this one right here, for some reason, is my favorite build in the actual city. And coming up from the farmland area, we have yet another market. And this market came out pretty cool. You're going to see several markets, by the way. I mean, every town has one. And next to the market is our tavern that still needs an interior. Yeah, I actually am going to do this one, though, because I like building inn and tavern interiors. And this is our road pattern throughout this specific city. We kind of come up with a different pattern for different areas, and this one just fit the vibe. Coming through the market area, we just have a bunch of little stalls and vendors. This guy here, he's selling books, or maybe, I don't know, information. Little general goods vendor here. And a little vegetable vendor. And everything else, we can just use our imagination. For instance, this guy just manufactures and sells wheat. Well, I guess he wouldn't manufacture the wheat, he'd be selling flour. Continuing along the backside of the city, the roads start opening up a little bit more. And why? Because this is the wealthy district. Yes, these houses are all significantly more grand than the rest of the houses in the city. We'll get to this over here in a second, but as we exit the wealthy district, we enter the main town gathering area. This right here is a brew house. Also, we'll have an interior at some point. Doesn't right now, though. And it came out really cool. I really like the roof design. Anyways, this is the city's main inn, and there's no point in going inside because you already know what I'm going to say. Yep. But this should be a pretty cool interior. It's going to be multi-level, rooms all up top, and, well, a big bar seating area, place to eat. As we head towards the front of the city, a lot of these houses are just simple houses. They all kind of have a different design, but I also wanted to keep them somewhat uniform. But I didn't want anything to be exactly a duplicate. However, there are still a couple special buildings. This building right here, next to another little dock, is our ironworker's shop, which should be pretty easy to decorate. We did put the forge in here just to kind of, I don't know, so we could see exactly what it is, what it represents, but it should be super easy to do an interior in here. Another pretty cool looking house next to the warehouse. And I really like the way this little storage warehouse came out. This is the main storage area for the town and supplies. And right over here is just a little fun area that I will be working on as well. And it's going to be a little jail. Next to and connected to a sheriff's office right here. Now, it makes sense because, well, you got an inn here and a tavern over there. Inevitably, somebody's going to get in some trouble, and they're going to need to go, sleep it off somewhere. Now, that concludes the actual Nordic city, but that does not mean we're done with it. This right here is our guard barracks, and it leads to our bridge going over to our Nordic castle. Now, this bridge is pretty cool. The castle itself is not what you would think when you see somebody build a castle in Minecraft, because, well, I have many different castles and there'll be more. This one is supposed to be true to a fortification castle, not a vanity castle, not a fantasy castle. That's why there's no big towering, towers and spikes everywhere. No, this was made to house the royalty and soldiers, like a medieval Nordic castle would. And walking up to the entrance just feels good. Like, I really, really love this entrance. Probably one of my favorite entrances to a grand structure that I've ever done. You know what I'm going to say here. There's no interior. Well, that's true, but there is something in here of great importance. And that is the start of our full netherite beacon. We're about 8% there. Now this over here, this is going to be a treasure room. And the throne room will be right here. That will be a barracks of sorts. Now, will this beacon stay here once it's fully done? I don't quite know yet. But for right now, this is where it's stashed. We still have a lot of work to do on this. I had absolutely so much fun doing this project. Oh, I loved it, every bit of it. Even though when I got towards the end of the city, I really just wanted it to be done. But when I finished it, I was so happy. Now, on to the last thing going over to the west, and that is our creeper farm, which we transformed into kind of a volcano-ish type structure. Now, obviously, we have a whole bunch of kitty cats inside this mountain. We actually lost one of them to a thunderbolt somehow. I don't know how it got through this much stone and hit a kitty like in the middle. But anyways, it goes down to our little collection down here. Oh, look at the creepers. I didn't think I was up high enough for them to do anything. Whatever. Nothing too crazy fancy in the collection area. However, we really, really love our AFK area. Let me show you. Now, the whole idea here is that this magical island was ripped from the earth with magic. And the only real way to get up here is to fly. And a cute little cozy interior. Very, very small. I didn't want it to be big. And this is our AFK spot. Perfectly safe in there for forever. Now, we're done with the tour to the west. I will say, though, that if we want to, we do have real estate open for some pretty cool builds and spots that are pretty much already terraformed for our needs if we want to do something in this area. But for right now, it's done. Now, there's only a few things left in our immediate surrounding areas in the overworld, but that does not mean we're done. We have a couple things we have to show you a little bit further away. However, let's finish this off real quick. So back over at our Sniffer Ranch, next to it we have a carrot farmer's house and a mill. And honestly, when I was making this build, I did not like it. However, looking back on it now, I vibe with this mill. Yeah, I mean, it's not anything crazy. It's pretty simple, but I really do enjoy it. And then down from the mill, we have ourselves a logging camp. Yes, where all the trees are being harvested and grown and chopped down, and then they're being brought over here and hoisted up into the mill. Across from the logging camp, we have a very wealthy farmer's house. I really like making this style of houses. I don't know what you would call that. Is it like a ranch style? Or whatever it is. I enjoy it. I think it's cool. And then across from this farmer's house, we started playing with some ideas, using our imagination. And, well, a little fun fact about me, I live in the Midwest, actually St. Louis, but I grew up a fair part of my childhood in Florida. And, well, orange trees were everywhere in Florida. So I kind of wanted to make some orange groves. And I think they kind of came out cool. Just a bunch of different variations. We used sandstone for these. And these over here are supposed to be like a smaller version of oranges, maybe like a mandarin orange tree, but I think they came out pretty cool. And this is the house for the person that owns these orange groves. And the lore here is that this person came from a distant land and brought these crops with them. So he has a completely different just building style than any other houses in the area. Very tropical, very bright, and I love it. I love using bright colors. Next to the orange grove is a custom little marsh, because at this point in time, I just was done with this part of the land. I didn't want anything else to go here, but I didn't want it to be blank either, and I think it came out pretty cool. I mean, I wasted all my non-renewable stuff like the small drift leaves doing it, but it was worth it. And then we have another bridge with a cow tied to it. What? Why do I have a cow here? I do, nope, no idea. I'll have to find somewhere for you to go, dude. Anyways, across from this is basically the end of our current projects. Don't pay attention to that beam over there. I'll show you that in a second. But we have no future plans for any of this area as of right now. Eventually, yes, but not right now. But over here, we have a very cozy fishing village. And it, once again, as far as smaller builds go, one of my favorites. Yet another little tiny market in the center, and just a bunch of different variations of houses. A bunch of different colors, all sticking with the same hamlet fishing village vibe. But I wanted to vary everything up greatly. I didn't want anything to resemble any other buildings in the village. And all of these buildings are empty except for two right now. One being this future trading hall that's just blocked off right now, so that guy right there stays alive. And as I was building this village, I wanted a lot of the buildings to be actually overhanging the dock area. And that one right there, that is actually going to be the tavern/inn of the village. And that building right now is the most important building in the village because it actually has something in it. It has 2 zombie-cured fishermen for our campfire needs. Unfortunately, neither of these guys wanted to buy cod from me, which I have like so much of. But whatever, they're a good source of campfires. And for right now, the fishing village just dead ends to a bunch of farmland and whatnot. Eventually this is going to path over there. Now upriver just a little bit from our fishing village, we have our resin mine. This here was a recent project we just finished, and I really like the way it came out. It's nothing too crazy. I mean, it's pretty empty as far as interior decorations, and once we get here, the decorations just stop because, well, it leads to another farm, and this is our creeking farm. Yep, when night comes, they spawn right there. We press that button, and the water comes out and pushes them right into that stream, and you just punch them. So we can finish up the west tour. Let me show you what this beacon is. We have a large, perfect circle that is actually a future project. This is going to be a large coliseum that will be coming up pretty soon. I don't know if it'll be the next episode or the one after, but it's happening really soon. And it's going to house our raid farm, and it's going to have an entire city surrounding it as well. So it's probably going to be a multi-episode project. And we also have a max tier beacon set up here. Yeah, every buff you could get. And while our raid farm required way more spawn proofing than I originally wanted to do, it works really well now. Now, as far as our tour goes, all we have left to do is go south, right over that way. However, right here behind our sniffer ranch and this big weird flower field that I like and don't like at the same time, we have our copper aging facility. A pretty simple design, but I really vibe with it, especially this chimney, which honestly, when I was building it, I hated this part, and now it kind of brings the whole building to life. So enter yet another farm. The entire top level here is all just for aging doors. And as we come down here, we have an area where we can multitask and age up 2 stacks of blocks at the same time. Now, we generally just use it for trapdoors and iron bars. And while that side is pretty much just designated for quick aging whenever I need it, like right away when I don't realize that I'm almost out, this side over here is for mass production. While it works slower, it also is just like a long-term investment, because when it's fully done, it's a big payoff. As we head south from our aging facility, we have 2 ways we can go. One way leads to the Iron Keep. We'll get to that in just a second. The other way goes up here. I really, really love this path, by the way. It comes up to a very simple hovel, and inside of it is another floor shifter. However, this one is a little different than the other ones I showed you, because this one is in a flower forest, so it gives us all our flowery stuffs. Oh, there's no bone meal in it right now, but that's what it does. Now, this castle here is the last thing to show you before we technically exit what we consider to be our starter kingdom. Yeah, everything from here to the Japanese-inspired city to the West Gate is one kingdom. The Nordic kingdom is a separate entity, but we like to think that they trade with this kingdom. The Colosseum kingdom, or whatever it's going to be over there, we don't want them to be friends. We're going to say that they are opposing factions. But anyways, back onto this. In front of the castle gate here, we have just a little dock area and a little chilling area. A bunch of clutter on the dock just because, well, boats are dropping stuff off. Another little empty barn that we need to put some stuff in, and some materials just laying around in case some repairs need to be done on the walls of the castle keep. Now, we called this the Iron Keep for a reason. Let me see if I can show you. This tower right here houses our iron farm that we built, I believe, on episode 1. Yep, there's 3 villagers and a zombie in there, and well, the iron golem just spawns right there and goes into a kill shoot right there. Ah, yep, see, there he is. Bye-bye, dude. Thank you for your sacrifice. And coming from our castle courtyard, if we go through here, all that iron just goes right into here. And, oh my gosh, do we have iron. Like, I can't keep up with this thing. I kind of just gave up. And that right there is just to compost all the poppies. And yes, I know, it's another not done interior. On the other side of the first castle courtyard, we have our map room. This right here is where we started out at 1,000 days. This one right here is 2,050 days. You're starting to see this right here? We'll get to that in a second. And then at 4,000 days. We did so much, we had to excessively expand these maps by like 3 this way and like 2 this way. Now, as far as the upper level of the castle, we just got a little parapet right here. We got what I believe would represent some type of castle chapel or something. Nothing in my game actually represents anything in real life as far as like those types of structures, but that's just kind of what I see it as. The decorations up here are pretty simple. Right here is another empty area. However, it leads somewhere that is quite valuable to us. So way down here, when we were closing off the lake that surrounds our castle, we found this. This right here is our spider spawner, our spider farm. Well, because string is pretty important to me. I use a lot of scaffolding, and it's just an important resource for me. Yeah, see, there they are. I don't need any right now, though. Well, I mean, I'm already here. Now, out the south gate entrance isn't anything too crazy. We have another little stable that actually has a couple horsies in it. Yeah, that's right, I said horsies. And one path leads that way to potential builds for later. The other path leads to one of the most time-consuming yet awesome builds I have ever done. It is mandatory that I fly into that build to really showcase what it is. However, I will show this cool little bridge I made. Yeah. And we have a windy little mountainside path that leads to what we like to call the Dwarven Citadel. The outside is mostly just farmland, but on the inside, we dug out almost 17 chunks of the world to build this. And then we still had to build it. Oh, it took a long time. But here we are. Let's start at the top. Now, there are three entrances to this citadel, one to the east, west, and south. However, there's no point of really showing those, except for I really like this bridge right here, or arch bridge, whatever. However, to the north at the top of the citadel is actually one of my favorite little interior designs I've done. It just leads up to a little courtyard that leads up to another courtyard. Yep, a little storage area, a little practicing area, and our doggy war council. Yeah, these are all my puppies. I got them all. Actually got more than these, but yeah, this is where they hang out. This is where they think they're ruling the kingdom. Yeah, but you'll see who really rules it in a minute. And the road system for this citadel just kind of winds down and interweaves throughout the entire dugout cavern. So like right here, we just have some little apartment complex buildings that lead up to there to one of the exits. And same thing down here. And we have a bunch of different variations of building styles throughout this whole place. Now, these two buildings right here are definitely much more grand and decadent than a lot of the buildings in the city. Another big apartment complex. And as we head down throughout the city, we start coming across our first farms. Now, there are many farms in this city. First up is Glow Lichen. Second is Rooted Dirt. Well, not Rooted Dirt, the hanging roots from the rooted dirt. We got ourselves a couple more just little funky, wonky style houses that kind of just deads in right there because the path down is on the other side. I like that one. And that one. I like most of them. Now that one right there is supposed to be more of like a factory style building. Pretty basic, but for some reason it just kind of works there. Underneath it, more houses and apartments. I think I've showed you enough houses. Let's get to the good stuff. What is in this center pillar? Well, it actually houses three things. First up is a skeleton farm that we don't actually use right now, although if we're in the area, we let it work because if skeletons drop right here, they just suffocate and then I just get their bones. But inside the pillar, we have a geode, and both of these chunks over here are slime chunks. Though this is our slime farm. That guy's competing for it. Whatever. That chest is very full, so I'm not too worried about losing any slime. Now, I'm not going to show down there, but that's our mines. If we go down there, it's just chaotic mess, but that's where I go mostly to get tough and to blow up Deep Slate. Buddy, no. Where did you spawn? Huh. Okay. At the bottom of the citadel is where our build really shines. This was always meant to be the main focus of the build. Now here, we just got a couple little caged slimes, as well as an iron golem. We have ourselves an ink farm, which, you know what? I'm not going to be using that much ink, and it's super tiny, so I'm perfectly fine with these results. A whole bunch of variations of just different house styles. Most of them are just dug halfway into nothing, but whatever. Coming through the large residential area, we have yet another super tiny market. Almost like a gathering place than a market. And right next to it is yet another farm. This is our dripstone farm. And it does okay. It does okay. Apparently it produces observers. No, just kidding. It fell in there. You think we're out of farms yet? If you said yes, you'd be wrong. If we cross over our lava river here on our cute little tiny bridge, we come to, well, two more farms. A lava farm and a super smelter. We have actually utilized this lava farm a lot. Mostly when doing all of this. Yeah, this is all custom. This wasn't here. Now, the last thing of importance on this side of the bottom of the citadel is this right here. This is the entrance to the Hall of Trials. And, well, you can guess that. Down here, that's a trial chamber. That's it. Yeah. It's pretty much just here if I get bored and I just want to go randomly fight a bunch of stuff. Because, as you saw over at the zoo, I don't actually have to fight any of them. I can just use my farm. The lava lake and river runs through the entire bottom of the farm, and I mean the entire thing. Now, like I said before, most of these are just houses from here on out. However, up here, underneath this very very large geode is the most important thing in the city as far as creatures. This is our kitty cat Illuminati. Yeah, you think the dogs up there are running the place? Nope, it's all being secretly manipulated by these guys. Tell me that's not like the dumbest lore you've ever heard. Now, this building here is the actual entrance to our mine area. And we have one last building that's of significant importance. And that is the trading hall for all our masons. Technically, we have more masons than this. And since this concludes the citadel, I'll show you what I mean. Back over and underneath our starter house, we have what I like to call the Hall of Outcast Villagers. Yeah, it's just a place to put villagers that have really terrible trades, but still have some benefits, such as brick and quartz. Don't you harm me, dude. You should have better trades. Now, we are almost done with our tour, and we are done with this entire area. However, down here underneath our town is our nether portal, also surrounded by a nether wart farm. And I like the way the portal came out, honestly. But even better than that, it leads to the start of our future glorious, I mean, it's kind of glorious as it is, nether hub. Now, it's unfortunate if you're a Bedrock player and you can't do this. If you're a Java player, I highly suggest building a nether hub. Anywho, we have farms and roads just going all directions with a compass, just marking each direction as well. First up, we have our magma cube farm. Well, technically, it's a froglight farm, but it does also produce magma. And since we're already talking about this, we might as well go this direction first. We have ourselves a hoglin farm that works ridiculously fast. This road here is very unfinished, but it goes 1,000 blocks that way to our sacrificial desert. And as far as the portals go, every portal we link up has a little design to represent what it leads to. Now, this leads to our water temple. And underneath our water temple is our guardian farm. It works very, very well. And to get up to the temple, we just do this. We were very, very proud of this build, especially when you look at it from a distance. Oh yeah, we like this. Oh, and our happy gas just kind of hangs out here. We don't use them too often, so yeah. And if we want to get really obscene rates for the Guardian farm, we do have an AFK platform up there that we access through this water stream. And we even did a mild interior on this one. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, this whole place is supposed to be about spiritual journey. Yeah, the air temple from before is about knowledge. This one is about spirit. The south road leads to a future swamp empire. We haven't even started on that yet. The west road leads to our stronghold portal and another farm. And this is our ghast farm, and the road just literally stops right here because eventually I'm going to need to connect it to some other stuff. I just don't know which way yet. There's no point of going in our stronghold portal. Just know that we fought the Ender Dragon 20 times and opened up all the gateways. That will be a project at some point. The last current farm we have on the nether roof is our gold farm. Now, you might be thinking, didn't they nerf piglins to where they don't drop gold if they're angered? They did. They did. And I said, no. Now, I built this farm, and I'm going to use it. So I do have a mod that removes the nerf they did to piglins. Do I feel like it's cheaty? No. It was in the game for like 5 years. It was dumb that they removed it in the first place. And the North Road is very much unfinished. This section here leads over to a mushroom island. This one here, though, leads to probably our next major project. It leads to our desert, our future desert empire. And what we have planned here is a desert oasis kingdom. Lots of lush green contrasting with all the sand. I think it's going to come out pretty cool. Also, I think we got some pumpkin-headed mobs stashed around here somewhere. Now, all I really have left to show you is 2 more nether farms. Unfortunately, one of them's 2,000 blocks that way. So, yeah, I'll see you in a minute. There it is. Now, as far as where that portal goes, I don't really know. It goes to a little cave, and we never explored further. But that's not the point. It's supposed to just mark the entrance anyways. Right here. Yes, am I the type of crazy person who mob-proofed this entire area? I am. Except for this guy. Why are you there? Well, I don't know how that guy got there, but it's not that big of a deal. We have our Wither Farm. And I kind of wish I had a fire resist potion with me, just in case. But whatever. And it works quite well. Yeah, like really well. And it only took me like 29 hours. I'm not joking either. I actually mean that. Sadly. Alright, well, another 2,000 blocks home. And the last thing to showcase might seem so simple, but it's probably my favorite thing I've done in this world. Not as far as building, but as far as doing something. And I called this, I don't know what I call this. It's just a giant hole that we blew in the nether roof. Yeah, this took an insane amount of pistons and TNT. Once again, if you're on Bedrock, unfortunately, you can't do this. Wish you could, though. I really do. We have one more thing down here. The last farm of our current world is right here in this big ugly box. What is it? It is a blaze farm. And it works very good. Just wait. Yes, very good. And when we're done just doing whatever we're doing in the nether, we just fly right out. I absolutely love that. And that is it for our world so far, but we have builds and builds and plans on plans coming up. And so far, it's been quite a ride, and I hope somebody out there enjoyed this little tour. And if you like adventure and whatnot, besides the builds, we go on a lot of adventures and just goofy fun times. So if you're bored, check out one of my other videos, or not. I mean, it's your choice. But anyways, I have so many plans for the next 5,000 days, and if you like this, stay tuned, because we're going to be doing some big things. But until then, I'm done. I got to get to work. I just wasted like 20 days doing this video. Anyways, later dudes, and I hope your day is going absolutely wonderful.